To additions and deletions.
I do have a deletion. We'll be removing F. There's no need to do that now, based on new information. And also, I'd like to add, in place of that, a request to waive the bench donation fee requirement.
Can I get a motion? Agenda?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
So a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the deletion of section F, or 7F, and then adding a new 7F to waive the bench fee requirement that we've got. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Next we have the minutes from last month.
We get an update on naming.
What name?
Any naming update or progress on the rec center?
All the sponsorship. Wait.
Yeah, the update on that would be, the mayor wanted to wait on that, and I think it has to do with what's going on with the Corn Palace for now, and I don't know the details there, but so I think we're just going to hold off for now, but that option is available to the board moving forward. Yep. So I would just be in contact with the mayor moving forward if you want to act on that.
Any other questions on the minutes? Okay.
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from last month. All those in favor say yes or aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Bills.
Just checking. Things are a little different because I did it this
Not at all. You haven't noticed.
Okay, let me see if there's anything that stands out. So for the rec center, the shimmer bill here for 1,070 is the remainder of the design work for the indoor pool project, and we'll update you on that in our reports. And then the shade systems repair. We had some winds damage the shade structures out at the Cadwell softball complex, and that was a repair that was made, and that went under the insurance, and so we should be reimbursed for that amount. And then the Mid-America Golf, the 5,000 is that section that you added on the artificial turf. I think it was 2 meetings ago, maybe, or maybe it was last meeting. Yeah. And then Steve, you want to talk about the small equipment that you purchase each year, chainsaws?
Yeah, our chainsaws and weed eaters and stuff like that, it's all kind of a rotating every 4 or 5 years, 3 years, we kind of rotate them out. For as many stuff we have every year, we just update equipment. This year we did 3 chainsaws and, 4 chainsaws we updated. So.
Do you guys just wait for people to complain about? I mean, are you referring to more manually the trees everywhere, parks, and like that, like Walmart trees? Do you wait for citizens' complaints, or is it something you guys go around and look for, dying trees?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
We get, a lot of people calling in for us to look at trees, and then we send a guy out, either myself or another guy. We go drive the streets, kind of look for trees that are dying, dead, or dangerous, or some issues to it.
Sidewalks and stuff like that?
Yep. Yep.
Because this time of year, when you're out moving around, obviously, we get a few phone calls and people like, why is that person's tree coming down? What about mine?
Yeah.
Obviously, look for the free-for-all if a tree is cut down there.
It's right about 120 trees a year.
Is it?
Yeah. It fluctuates. It can fluctuate quite a bit, but you might have more because of the storm or something that we get. But, yeah.
Out of curiosity, is the replacement rate similar?
No, not as many as we take out. We might get 10 to a dozen people applying for the retreat program in the spring.
Any other questions on the bills? I didn't have anything else that wasn't in the description.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the bills. All those in favor say aye. All those, aye. All those opposed, no. Abstention.
And make sure you're talking into your mics tonight, because Angel will be reviewing this in a couple weeks. So, yep.
So new business, board reports.
Steven.
I can get mine.
I got Steve's up.
Oh,
Okay, we're changing it up tonight. Anyways, we finished our fall spraying of the parks and areas around the lake for weeds. Just kind of turned off water to everything, winterized restroom, shelters, irrigation systems, campground. Finished the trails, got everything out of the lake, like the buoys, the docks that we take out. Installed the bike rack here at the plaza and the bike repair station. Installed 2 signs, park signs in dry run. Working on removing the volunteer trees along the rocks, like at the Sportsman's Club, Day Camp, Camp Arroyo, Kibbe. Ongoing mulching of the leaves in the parks. Just kind of been cleaning up around the shop, kind of winterizing the summer equipment, putting it away, and getting Christmas decorations ready to put up here next week. The guys put up the tree today, but next week we'll put up the rest of the decorations. Any questions?
so on my report, we finished up our outdoor programs with Men's Flag a week ago. Our youth basketball program finished up last night that we do with the high school teams. Our tennis lessons started up last week, and both of those filled up, which is good. Swimming lessons, the final session will start here next week for the first session anyway, or the last ones of this year, and then we'll start them up again in January. Our youth wrestling program, they made some changes in who's going to be running it this year. We worked with the high school team with that, and they Paul Wilson did that the last few years, and now Brandon Billhauer, who did it for a number of years, is taking it back over. And I think Coach Van Overschild's going to help him again with that. So they're going to start a little bit earlier this year. They usually start beginning of January, and they're going to start it up the beginning of December. So So that's a little bit earlier, and then co-ed volleyball started last week. The rec center, it's been going good again now that it's been getting colder out. I mentioned on there, we've been having a little bit of a issue. We had with our software system, they put in a new credit card processor in beginning of September, and it has not been working ever since, been working right. And so right now, I was talking with Nate earlier, and our revenue is down a little bit right now for the last 2 months because we're not getting our auto checking monthly things on time or at all for the last couple months, and we've been in contact with them several times with ourselves and our IT guy Andrew, and it's been a big issue, and so we're working with them on how they're going to resolve this. So I don't know. I'm looking at if we don't get some of these people's memberships, their money, maybe some reimbursement from them, something. I don't know, but it's been a major issue. So hopefully they're going to get that rectified. As far as the indoor pool, Nate, do you want me to talk about that now, or are you going to say that in your report?
Go right ahead, yeah.
So we did get quotes. Nate put out 3 quotes to fill the pool in. Just get that done with the minimal electrical work that needs to be done in the floor. And we did get a low bid to come in, and so we're going to be working with them. They're going to be getting us a contractor. They just shot Nate the quote here last night, and so they're going to get us a contract that we will hopefully get within the next few days, and might have to have a quick emergency meeting, like at a noon time or something, to approve that contract so we can get going on it sometime at the end of this month or December or whatever, so we can get going on that project. So it was a good bid, so we're hoping we can get started on that and at least get it filled in so that we can use it for some after-school stuff, at least for now. So, and our birthday parties have been going really well. We filled up all October and most of November. So December is kind of iffy sometimes with the holidays, but we've had some good inquiries about December as well. And so we started some bingo with the kids after school at the rec center too, once a week. So they really like that. So if anybody wants to come play bingo with the kids Tuesday or Wednesday, stop by about 3:45. Any questions?
Any questions on Jeremy's as well? He's on vacation, and we are still waiting on artificial turf and the refrigeration system until further notice. We haven't heard anything yet this
The
time.
temp one's working great.
What's that?
The temp one is working great.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
That baby rolling.
Yeah, no doubt.
Is it, I noticed, I drove by there, is it that ice buildup on the pipes outside? Is that,
I'm sure it's refrigerated.
It must be from the temporary system.
yeah.
Somehow,
I just
yeah.
noticed it kind of, does it continue to grow? I haven't been by there recently, but
It's a good question. I don't know.
I didn't know if it needed to be,
Knocked off.
I'll go
yeah,
check it
I,
out.
well, I don't know anything about it, but I just noticed, I drove by there a couple times and I noticed the ice growing on the outside of the,
I'll check that out.
yeah, and then,
Don't want to get too much too late.
yeah, I don't know if it needs to be taken care of or.
Since we're talking about that a little bit, all the city equipment that's sitting over there, the snow plows and all the trucks and all of that stuff, is that permanent?
A lot of that stuff is permanently stored there. Is that what you're asking?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that, so that's the player's entrance back there. And I'm just afraid some kid's gonna pull in there and not pay attention to the snowplow sitting on the ground and ram right into it.
Okay, yeah.
Just because
Yep.
the way they sit, they sit up
Yeah.
forward and you can't see them. And so that's my only concern, is just somebody's gonna hit the thing.
Yep. I'll talk to Jeremy about that.
I mean, if it's not a
And-
permanent thing, they're gonna get moved, fine.
Y-
But,
Yeah, I'm curious if he's putting them on they're not on the trucks, is that what you're saying
no,
yet?
they're just sitting
I think they're putting them on the trucks,
there. Okay.
and I think it's temporary, is what, yeah.
Right. I don't know if they popped them on or off, if they left them on the whole
I
summer.
think they leave them on but usually I think we have snow by now, I don't know, maybe we don't.
Well, up until now, I hadn't really been to the players' entrance all that often. Now it's
Yeah.
just the front doors,
Yeah.
because I have little ones, but now it's just back doors.
Yep, I'll let them know to keep that in mind as well, if there's an entrance right there. He's done winterizing and, I don't know if there's any other questions. The ice bumper cars and the open skate started on October 27th, so that's going every day but Tuesday. Yeah, he's saying that it's 4 weeks and it keeps getting pushed back, but in 4 weeks for a long time. Okay, I guess I'll just go directly to mine here. Try to update you on. So we did reject the bids for the rec center. We're going a different route, and we're going to just fill in the pool this year, and then next year we'll go to rebid the rest of the project. That's the plan for now. We got the trail markers done at Lake Mitchell. The Firesteel Park area will wait because that is going to be or should be a spoil site location. Skate park's all done. The final ramp was installed today. So everything's complete there. We may add a light later on because it sounds like we need at least one more light. Again, the final dredging design was approved by council, or is being approved once we've had the final budget approved next week. And that's to do the final design for the dredging project. And again, that's to dredge and restore Lake Mitchell and create a spoil site at Firesteel Park, and eventually you could make that into a new sledding hill for that area. Got the 2022 fees are being submitted tonight, swim club contract, and then also we'll talk about the Kiwanis Park Trail. The Dry Run Creek Trail Lighting Project, we're working on that, and that'll be coming to you in January for a 2022 project. Trying to see if the shared roadway, again, probably next year for roadway markings when they can get access to more paint. The jetty and boat dock installation would go alongside a drawdown for the lake when they do the dredging project. And if they draw it down, that'll be a $500,000 savings on that project, and they would want to do it at that time. The Sunstone Warranty, again, I've been reaching out to them. I have not heard back in my last email about 2 weeks ago, so I'm following up on that. That's for the indoor pool Sunstone product that's peeling from the side walls. The zip line warranty is still, we're waiting for them to send us that part for that as well, and that was because of supply issues. Artificial turf supply, refrigeration supply. We're going to talk about the shade structure tonight. And then the fitness stations around Cadwell are being donated by Leadership Mitchell, and they're going to be raising the funds to actually do that project, and they're working with Thomas and Jeremy on that, so we're excited to have that. They should bring something to you once they have a design or something, an idea for that project. And then the Lake Mitchell tree thinning project, we have all the quotes in for that. I'm almost wrapping up that contract. That'll come to you in December as a starting project. And those are all the things I've been trying to wrap up this month. Is there any questions?
So the next item would be the MAC agreement.
Kevin, you want to take this?
Yep, so we've got the 2022 MAC agreement, or the agreement, and we changed up there, the only thing we changed this year, I had the Aquatic Club look this over yesterday, and they agreed to it. We're not changing any of the terms in there. We had increased some fees for 2021, but we're going to keep them the same for 2022. The only thing we're changing is anywhere it says Mitchell Aquatic Club or MAC, they want it to say to go to Riptide or Tide. That's their new name that they've been going by. And so they approved it yesterday. They signed it today, so we're just needing your guys' approval, and we'll have our contract for 2022. Does anybody have any questions about the contract?
I'm assuming it worked fine last year.
It did.
We just need a motion to approve with the changes to the name that we're looking for.
Yep.
Second.
Yep. We got a motion and a second to approve the Dakota Riptide agreement, the name change. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carries. What, the shade structure design for the outdoor aquatic center.
Let me take this down a little bit. This is not the final color or anything, but if you look at the concession area, I think I have two. This is the concession area right here. We have those little blue umbrellas that are very dangerous and falling on staff and causing injuries, and we need to get those replaced. The design that we've come up with is this one where it allows you to find shade or sun depending on where you want to be sitting. It's a cool day or a warm day, or you have an infant with you, or so that would cover that area right there, and that's what it would look like, with the exception of the colors would change, which hadn't been decided on yet. So if this is the direction you would like to go, I'll have this contract ready to go for January. It is a source well contract, so there's no bidding, and it's also under 100,000, so that also doesn't require bidding as well.
So how much is it?
This would be a $70,000 project. We have 94 approved for this in 2022, or on Monday we will have approval. And then that'll allow us to add a couple more. There's a few of those umbrellas. There's right here, you can see kind of down in that corner, there's another one there. There's a few throughout. We'll have enough funds to maybe replace 2 or 3 more of those. And originally, we did ask for 120 to replace it all, but we had to lower that for budget reasons, and we're at 94,000.
How tall is it?
Well, I don't have the height with me
I just
on
know
that.
we've done enough of them that if they're too tall, they don't work, because just the angle the sun is at in South Dakota, they don't work, and so, that's why I was asking.
Yep, I think we can have,
It looks like it's multi-level,
Yeah.
which helps.
yeah.
And multi-tiered.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on here is it does go down on one end, and in the middle even it goes up, and on the high end on the other side. I think it'd be just an inviting, more inviting than what we currently have.
What kind of years, what do you see in capital for years of, well, Jeremy's not here. How long did they last?
Those have been there for at least 6 years? Well, at least 6 years, I'd say.
11, 12?
Yeah, it's probably been closer to 8 to 10 years, I'd say.
East side's been done
Yeah, that's right, east side.
2 or 3 years longer than the west.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask that.
Earlier, did with the repairs that had to be done, was that on both sides, or was that on,
It was just on one.
was it on the
It was
east
just
side?
one hook on the end, like one of these hooks came undone, so they had to replace, I think, probably the whole shade, or add a new hook of some sort somehow.
I guess The only wear and tear I've seen out there is color.
We've had very good luck with them, I'm just curious.
And
So I
these would be up a lot shorter amount of time. We're only talking mid-June to mid-August.
Yeah.
So these are coming up and going down?
Yeah.
They're not staying up?
No.
I guess my only recommendation would be the color, whatever color it was, that it's something that doesn't turn to show the fade as much.
Sure. The whites and
I mean, the color there besides the orange.
the light blues maybe, because we have a lot of blues out there.
That's the only thing at Cadwell that I notice is the color fade, but
So is it like a cable system where you're taking a lift in there and unhooking
Yep.
turnbuckle type?
It's the same way we do it over at. If you want me to get any other questions answered, or otherwise we'll seek a motion to approve the design, and we'll have that contract ready for you in January.
All motion to approve the
Any color issues?
design. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can pick the colors in January. I hate picking colors.
I'll say.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the sunshade design at the Aquatic Center. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Carried. Next item is the Kiwanis Bike Trail ADA Master Plan.
Okay, so I'll kind of, forgive my drawing here, but I had to do it quick this month. In our capital projects, we did approve the ADA trail from Kiwanis Park to Indian Village, and that's the blue line. And what I wanted to bring to you tonight is kind of what the overall plan would be moving forward, to make sure everybody's on the same page or on the right track here. The mayor is looking at maybe doing a floating island type bridge right in this area, and then you would have a larger bridge either here or here. You could go either place to connect that campground and have all ADA trail to line up with the 37 trail that's going to be along 37 here. So this will be a nice pedestrian area connecting the Indian Village, the campground, and Kiwanis Park, and the amphitheater as well. So I'm kind of looking for something to give direction from the board here tonight, and I can go in and redraw some things if you want something different. Through our master plan process and our Lake Mitchell master plan as well, we have had a lot of requests for that ADA, more ADA paths. We do have it at the Lions Park and also at Sandy Beach. This area is kind of deficient in that, and this is, has a little bit more foot traffic because it's closer to town, of course. So I'm open to suggestions here, or if you like the plan, we can kind of approve it for now and kind of leave it at that, and that way Steve can get moving on the blue trail next year with the approved budget.
I guess my first question would be the floating bridge. I don't know the lake in that section very well. Is that going to upset people being blocked off?
I don't know if the far back one probably won't. I know the area quite well, but I think back there the far one won't, because it gets pretty shallow and busy with a lot of trees that have fallen in the water, so it's not really boat worthy, if I'm going to say it that way. But the one up front, when I seen it right away, I was like going, I think you might have some upset people if you weren't letting them come back past the.
So this one
You're
here,
talking one like way up at the top of the big, if there was one, not where he has it going.
this one here would be a bridge where boats go underneath.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one would be a
Right.
floating.
That one I don't see a problem, because people
Yeah.
typically don't go back any further than that.
Yeah.
But that one would be a problem.
And-
If it
and-
blocked
You know,
right away.
2020 price, the bridge, was $500,000 to purchase the bridge and $500,000 to install the bridge. So that would be across this section here is what that price was.
Well,
Prices now, I don't know what they were.
58,
Um,
you bridge the island.
Is there a way that,
You utilize that island a little more.
is that road coming off of 37, is that the campground, from the campground?
This right here?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's through the campground?
through the campground.
So there's probably not a way to go around that, so you don't have to have a bridge?
There's not, it's private property down here is our problem. And this would connect you to where the pedal boats or rentals are and future other pontoon boat rentals and those kinds of things. That's where you'd rent. So it'd be an active area is what we're
But
trying
that
to
trail
do.
goes on that whole south side of that part too, though, right? On 23rd there, when you pull in that parking lot off of 23rd, that
Yep.
light,
This right here?
no, off of 23rd down there.
Oh, 23rd, I'm sorry.
There's a little
I keep thinking
gravel road
37.
parking area.
So that parking area, a lot of people park there, but then that trail goes around the,
Yeah,
They
Yes,
go
it
around
does.
the parking and
yeah,
towards
it goes all the way around that.
yep.
That watering, yeah, it goes down into those trees and
Yeah,
goes back.
and it goes back around the park.
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
So is all the green asphalt, or is that gravel?
Yeah, so the
Those are
blue
like
and,
Kiwanis.
the blue and green, eventually, you would want to have it kind of like, more like Dry Run Creek and Sandy Beach. Right now, we're building it as a gravel path.
How much destruction would there be to the current lake system?
Not much. I went over it with Steve. There was just 2 small sections to level it out, which would be right past the amphitheater right here, and another one right in here. Everything else is pretty level.
Yeah, it is, that's that lower run.
Yep, and it's staying on the lower run. We wouldn't eliminate the upper area, so the bikes could go up and down, but the pedestrians would be able to go around. I mean, you could bike on the path as well. But
There will be areas we'll have to widen it, of course, to get 5-foot wide, 8-foot wide trail. There'd be a lot of that, but
and I'm working through with, I've already did the application with the State Historic Preservation Office for archaeological sites. They're checking it for me.
I think it's honestly a good idea to keep the south side of Kiwanis as it is. It's a pretty naturalized area back in there. The bridge is a good idea right there.
I feel like it'll be used a lot.
This will give Steve an opportunity to know what to ask for next if he has a plan moving forward. Rather than piecing it each time, he can, come back and request funds for those other sections when needed.
The other nice thing it does, it also eliminates the need if you go all the way around to ride on the highway, which is good. Right now you have to ride the highway down to 23rd and then 23rd over that.
So they're putting in a sidewalk all along 37?
That's correct. Yep, that'll be 2023 or 24. I can't remember. I think it's 23. They're starting that project.
That goes up to the guard road, right?
Yeah, it goes all the way to the guard.
Is it going on top of that?
All the way to the garden?
Yep, it's a bike path.
I assume it's going down. It's going down where that current one is by the bridge, or is it going on top of the dike?
It's going on top, and it's going to go over the spillway.
Over the spillway.
Cool.
Yeah. And not only that,
In the bridge of the island.
this plan will allow for grants, because this is how you apply for grants, is have a plan and be able to show them what we're trying to do. And these projects, even though we're going to get started with the gravel, in the meantime, we can be applying for paving grants to get it paved and keep it kind of moving forward. The bridge would be a grant item as well, and all the trails would be, you'd be able to get some grant funds for that.
All motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion before we vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay. I went ahead and provided you the entire list of fees tonight, just so you had it with you, being that I'm my last meeting. The changes are in red, and I'll let Kevin kind of talk about his, if he has anything or anything you want to ask him. Our programs generally go up. Actually, before I do that, let me review our financial report with you, which we haven't looked at in a while. So as you can see, our department expenses are, you can always expect those to continue to rise at kind of at a steady pace over time. Revenue, we were doing well, and we were, kind of on track with that pace of expenses until 2020 hit for obvious reasons. But we were going in the right direction. Here's another look at those together. You want to get those more on the same track and continue to do so. This is why we increase fees, each year and look at our fee program and what we charge. For our cost recovery, again, in 2017, we had turned it around and heading in the right direction. The goal for the board from the master plan was to reach that 50% mark again, but 20 took a dive in it. I'm very confident you'll be in the 40s next year or 2021. We're doing very well in most areas. The rec center, again, we took a hit because of 2020. And obviously the jump from 2017 to 2018 was the new pool, but you also saw our revenue shoot up as well. And that'll be back up again in 2021. The recreation cost recovery, we had reached 72%. The goal we had set there was 75%. But with COVID, we went down to 53%. But I think we'll be right back up in that 70 percentile in 2021. The sports complex, this is the one we struggle with the most, is our fees don't keep up with our increased expenses. But we've leveled off our expenses over there, which is really good. Again, our cost recovery, with 20, we weren't able to turn that back around, but with a lot of our aggressive fees that we've been doing the last few years, I really think we would have been in the up to 25 to 30% had we not had COVID. But in 2021, I think we'll be back up there. And then the outdoor pool and programs, again, our expenses have leveled off, and in 20 we took a hit. But our expenses came down as well because we were closed for a large portion of that. And our programs, we just didn't do a lot of programs. So the outdoor pool cost recovery, it was very popular back when it was built in 2006, and the pool, and we've continued to see that decline. The only thing we can do there to change is just be a little bit more aggressive, I think, on marketing, bring some new ideas and enthusiasm to it. I think, having, and I've said this before many times, but having Life Vests would bring more people to the pool, but the board has voted that down several times. But I think that's something that would bring people back. Sorry, Kevin, I had to put a plug into it before I leave. The department expenditures are here. 25% rec center, 27% sports complex, 26% parks, administration 9%. Programming is 6%, and the outdoor pool is 7%. The parks expenditures here, neighborhood parks are around 38%. That's in town. Lake Mitchell and Shoreline Parks are 26% of their expenses. Snow removal 2%. Roadside mowing, it's also anything outside of parks. It's about 20% of our budget. That would be like, not mosquitoes. We have that separate as 3%. Forestry at 4%, and the campground is 7% of the overall budget. The average cost per acre in our parks in 2020 was $2,075. Any questions on that? And I'll go to the fees.
So, and I don't know if you've looked, but like, not maybe nationwide or regionally or whatever, is it the same thing happening in other cities? Like our sports complex is the hardest to recover and they can't get them recovered and, I mean, are we pretty on par with what else is going on in other places?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, what we've, so like we don't have control of all of our concessions, so a town that does is going to do a lot better than we are. So like in Norfolk, where I'm going, the department manages all the concessions, so they're going to bring in a lot more revenue. We allow our associations to generate the revenue so they can pay their fees. So here we probably should be, more aggressive on the fees, but that's a hard thing. I mean, that's between the, it's the board decision on how aggressive you want to be. But so I guess looking at what other cities are charging is important. Just keep up on that and make sure you're at least on par with what other cities are charging. And I think we've done that. And Jeremy does look at that for me when he's giving our recommendations. And they call us as well and ask them what we're charging. So I think for South Dakota, I think you're right on what other cities are dealing with. Yeah. The only other fees here, programming, locker room, the locker rental, the auto checking fee, the ice arena per hour is 77 for next year. Last year it was 75, and we also maintain that this year. The concessions, we're going to increase a little bit, and then per athlete, just $1 increases. Jeremy, I will say Jeremy is setting some new fees for non-Mitchell teams. This is up to the board here. These are some aggressive fees, but for the stadium, he has it set at $100 per day. And then for Drake, with our new artificial turf for high school outside of Mitchell would be $200, and non-Mitchell teams would be $300, and college teams would be $300 as well. And that's to come and practice on our new artificial turf. We do not have a fee for that. He's asked around, and that's where he's come up with these fees. Some of them are, or most of them are a little more aggressive than that, but we felt this was a good start for us. And then the concession stand at the stadium would move up a little bit as well. Did I not?
What were the fees on the first page that went down?
Okay, so the fees that went down, Kevin, you want to explain the programming?
Yeah, so those fees that went down that show a 10 in the red, those are programs that we've done a co-sponsorship with, whether it's Mitchell Volleyball or basketball, Dakota Wesleyan, like for track, where we used to charge a higher fee, but then we'd also have expenses like for coaching and stuff. When we're co-sponsoring with these other entities, we're taking a $10 per kid fee to do the registration and line up, any facilities and stuff. They have all the other expenses. So they take the rest of the revenue and they use it as either a fundraiser for their program or pay their coaches. So we don't have any expenses basically. So it's basically all revenue. So the revenue goes down a little bit, but we have zero expenses.
It's that cost recovery that we talked about here. Cost recovery is not just raising revenue, it's also finding ways to cut costs.
Any other questions?
On your fees that you guys have, any areas that you are expecting concerns? I mean, obviously, nobody likes any increases, but I mean, there's obviously always areas that are stick out a little more, like get ready for this, we're gonna have
Right.
a major discussion from
I
this
guess-
entity. Is there anyone
I
that
can
jumps out
talk.
at you?
The rec center, our fees, they're going up about 10%. They're going, well, shouldn't say that. So back, what is it? Was it 2 years ago, Nathan? 3 years ago? The fees were set by the board at this top level. And we gave a 10% discount for the first year, but then we had COVID as well. We kept that, so we really haven't raised them for a couple of years. And so basically for 2022, we're going up to the rates that were approved 2 years ago. So it's a 10% jump, but, you know, our expenses aren't going down either. So, you know, everything we do is costing more, from wages to chemicals to you name it. So, you know, it's not a huge, I mean, it sounds like it's a huge jump, but like if you're in auto checking, it might go up $5.
And also with that, the board had approved an allowable 10% discount. So if Kevin felt like he wanted to do run a special for a month, we would do a 10% discount. And that we just kind of left that up to discretion of the staff. If we could continue that, I think he wants to. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll probably do that around the holidays, or, you know, some kind of a special for a month. You know, our auto checking memberships, current ones, depending on when you got it, you know, if you got one last month, the way our system is set up, that price is set for the next 2 years, just because we can't change that in the system. So all these rate changes are going to go for new people until theirs expires, and then they'll go up to the new rate.
Okay.
Because we can't cancel their membership and renew it right away, because it's set up in the system as that.
Okay. Yeah, because I know obviously from park board to city council, when rates go up compared to
Yeah.
your ears warmed up a little bit.
And we will, but,
So that's why I want to find out which areas that you feel there's going to be concerns and.
and we're hoping we can justify some of these, you know, with filling in the pool, the old pool, having some more space for our kids, and then eventually remodeling that whole thing. It's definitely justified once we add that space completed, so.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
I'd also like to point out, when I was looking at, I can't remember which index it was, it was the CPI or another one, but we're at 6% inflation for the last calendar year. So, I mean, if anyone questions you, I think we can point that out too.
Yeah, it is going to be a rough year. We know that fertilizer and everything else, and I mean, everything we do has gone up. And we had this conversation at the Golf and Cemetery Board last night, because we did fees for the Golf and Cemetery as well. And it's going to be an interesting year next year, as much as it was this year. And that's kind of why we're trying to move these projects along quick, because we want to secure the pricing as well. We get these contracts there earlier, get them signed, the better as well.
No other questions? Can I get a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the fees as proposed for 2022. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to waive the bench fee requirement.
Yep. This request is coming from me personally. I'm asking the board to waive the donation fee for a memorial bench in memory of Angel DeWard's daughter, Megan, and we would be using remaining bench funds that we have available.
Great idea. I'll motion to approve.
Any discussion before we?
Is there a
Okay.
place you want to put it?
What's that?
Is there a place you want to put it?
I was going to have her come up with an idea.
Great.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to waive the fee for, what is it? For the bench.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Okay, next meeting, I think I had December 9th. Does that work? I'd like to get a majority here to at least agree before we set the date. Yep, we'll go December 9th at 6 PM. And I guess the only thing left on the, so I'd like to thank Nathan for, 5 years here?
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate everything you've done for the city.
It's been a pleasure working with the city, working with council, working with the board, and I've had a great learning experience here, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Wish I could stay, but it's time for us to move on, and we thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I do thank the staff as well, and I'll let them know before I go, but we're here till December 1st.
Meeting's adjourned.